Recording started. Um, Polecast or Poalminicast episode 3. The coin. Well, wait. You want to get things started?
I surely will. All right, this is a fascinating story by my account. Um, the other day, I'm going to say the other day, it was more like a couple weeks ago, but I was at a beer store getting some, of course, beer, and gave the cashier the 20, gave me back some change. It was supposed to be some dollars and I believe like 38 cents or something like that. We're going to call it that. And handed me the change, handed me what I thought was a quarter and some other change. And I noticed that this quarter looked a little strange. So I looked at the quarter and I was like, I've never seen a quarter look like this before. This isn't a fucking quarter. Maybe it's a foreign money or something. I don't know. So I did a little bit of research on this supposed quarter, and it turned out that the change that I got from the beer store in Southeast Texas turned out to be a 2,000-year-old shekel from, I believe it's a Phoenician shekel from the Tyre Mint.
And
And
oh, sorry. And that would be the same kind of coin that would have been given to Judas to betray Jesus, right?
that is correct, actually. It would have been one of the 30 pieces of silver, which this coin is a 95% silver coin, and it would have been the same type of coin given to Judas for betraying Jesus, around the same time period and everything.
That's like the fact that that ended up in a cash drawer in Texas. Like that's how does that even happen?
I know, right? Like, what is the story behind this coin? It's so amazing that I was looking it up, and the specifics are it's minted somewhere between 125 BC and I believe 40 AD. So this coin is literally 2,000 years old, and it just so happened to find its way into the cash drawer of a beer store in Texas from, the Middle East 2,000 years ago.
That's crazy. That's like the story of how it went from there to the US. It had to be a metric ton of just people not paying attention. It had to be.
Oh, you know it. I mean, like changing hands, and I mean, it's silver, so of course it has intrinsic value and everything like that. And just the story behind this coin, it traveled so far and such a long period of time. I mean, honestly, I'm leaning more towards thinking that this coin was probably in someone's collection, maybe somebody who died and somebody just got it and didn't know what they had, and went and just spent it at a store or something, and then of course just gets passed on, passed on, passed on, but you never really know with something like that.
What kind of condition is it in? Is it like I think I saw the pictures you posted earlier, but like is this something that can be cleaned up and might be worth something?
Actually, I looked at a couple of different coin appraisal websites and stuff like that, and had somebody take a look at it. The actual value of this coin is rated of $1,000 is what it is actually rated at. So something that I got as a quarter worth, say what they thought was 25 cents, actually ended up being $1,000, 2,000-year-old shekel,
I
which
mean,
is
I mean well, one, the fact that congratulations, you're $1,000 richer. But like, does it if you hold it in your hand, does it feel like a quarter?
Yes, it's actually about the same size as a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger, just a little bit, but it's got some wear on it. I'll repost some pictures of this for anybody that cares to see. I posted it pretty early this morning. I don't think a lot of people actually saw it, but it's just so crazy. And the backside is it looks like a one of our modern quarters. The backside is a bird, which I believe is supposed to be a representation of a phoenix, and it has some ancient writing on it. And the front side has a head. It actually kind of looks like a dime. The same kind of head on a dime is on the front side. So let me post a picture real quick again. So if anybody's listening or anybody cares to listen, they can check this out too.
We do have one listener, so
Yeah. Hi, guys.
hey, AOU.
Yeah, I'm listening. Very interesting.
Like you have to consider, you know, you have to consider, like, I mean, the amount of metric ton of of just nobody paying attention for this to end up in a cash drawer. Like, that's crazy to me, at least. So what are you gonna do with it?
I think I'll just keep it for prosperity, keep it, pass it on to the kids and stuff. And I mean, it's just something really cool to have around, and I don't think I would want to even sell it for $1,000. It's amazing.
Okay, would you sell it for $10,000?
Probably, but I mean, you know.
I think I mentioned this already, but I have an interesting coin of my own.
Oh, really? What do you have?
So there is a bassinet that was made for me, like for me when I was a baby, by my grandfather, and he put into it a silver dollar, and this silver dollar is like it's from the 1800s. I mean, it's very, very old, and I don't think it's worth a ton, but it's I hang on to it just because it's kind of interesting to have. And my kids, both of my kids slept in the same bassinet with that coin in it.
Well, that's cool.
I you know it's just interesting thing. It passed down through what made me think of it was you're thinking passing down the coin to your kids. So I'll definitely be passing that down to mine. So you seem like you know a thing or two about coins. What would something like that be worth?
Honestly, I don't really know. The only thing I really know about coins is from the little bit of research that I did on this coin itself, so I couldn't even tell you.
Well, let's consult the interwebs, shall we?
We shall.
Hey, well, I'm looking for the post you said you put some pictures about that coin, but I can't find it in your profile. Can you link it here?
Okay, so this coin is worth a little bit more, or the coin I've got is worth a little bit more than I thought it was. Its its value apparently comes in at $2,539.
Wow.
I thought the thing was worth like $10.
That's a lot of bacon.
Ocho de Pol.
I just reposted that. I deleted the first post and I just reposted it now, so if anybody else cares to see it.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like Caesar on the front of it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who's supposed to be depicted on the front of it. All I know is that it comes from the Tire Mint, wherever the hell that was, somewhere between 125 BC and 44 AD.
Like, I mean, imagine people, like, I mean, this thing looks like it genuinely is about the size and thickness of a quarter. I mean, does it have the same kind of weight to it?
Yeah, it's similar in weight, maybe a little bit heavier, but I just it blows my mind that so many people may have just overlooked it and just passed it along, not thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, look at the writing on the back. I mean, that's clearly. I've got to guess that's Greek.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure. I'm looking at this picture again, and it's clearly not an American coin. And I know a lot of places along the Canadian border, they'll pass off Canadian money like no thing, just because it's pretty much similar in size, weight, whatever. But for something like this to just be passed out and just nobody even look at, it's just mind blowing.
It really is. Like, I mean, and it really is. I mean, that's crazy to me that a coin like this would just that. I mean, I mean, really, you have to put this in perspective. This thing is a 2,000-year-old, roughly coin that went from the Middle East, crossed the Atlantic Ocean, ended up most likely, I'd have to guess, in probably, I mean, most likely, probably in Latin America or South America. Then ended up migrating up to the U.S. Ended up, and then ended up in a cash drawer in Texas. Like that's insane.
I'm just checking the picture now. Wow. Yeah. Did you polish it? Did you do some treatment to make it like glossy, shiny like that?
Actually, what you're seeing is the flash from my camera. It's pretty much in the exact same condition as whenever I got it. So that's what kind of makes me lean towards it might have been in somebody's collection, and maybe they died, and whoever got the collection after them either passed it along not knowing what it was, or maybe somebody's relative freaking stole it from them and spent it as change, which kind of would blow my mind anyway, that somebody would do that wouldn't even look into what they had.
I mean, that's an entirely possible theory. I mean, like, especially if it was a kid. Like, kids take stuff out of their parents' change jars all the time. At least in my experience. Not my kids because they're too young, but it, like, when I was growing up, I knew that that was a pretty common thing among me and my friends, was to take 4 quarters out of the change dish to run down to the store and get a pop or something like that. So that's definitely a plausible theory, I would think. But then again, why would something like this be in somebody's change dish?
Exactly. And it's like, even if it did come from someone's collection that somebody had taken or had been gifted and then unknowingly spent, it's just amazing the story of the coin to that point. Even, I mean, 2,000 years is a long time.
That is.
It is. Yes. I got a question. Did you check out how much it was worth it? I mean,
He did.
At the time it was used, how much was it worth?
Well, I didn't actually check out how much it was worth at the time when it was minted and used, but I mean, whatever. I mean, Judas sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, and this would have been one of those 30 pieces of silver or a coin similar to it. So, I mean, who knows? How much is a life worth? How much is a betrayal worth?
How much is it worth to, betray the supposed Son of God? I would think it would be worth a decent amount.
Apparently, it's less than raping a girl and marrying her.
Well, no, hold the bus on that one, because you have to take into account, and this is definitely a sidetrack, but you have to take into account that Judas followed Jesus, and he followed him, so he had to at least in some part believe his claims. So I would think that would suggest that that those 30 pieces of silver would be worth a decent amount.
Now, I was mentioning the Bible that says, I mean, the Old Testament that says, if you rape a girl that is not married or engaged, you have to give 50 shekels to her father, and you have to marry her. So I was just mentioning that.
Hold on, I'm looking up this verse.
How many shekels did you say it was?
50.
50 shekels. So I
Yeah.
guess.
So they killed Jesus for less than that. I mean, that's fucked up. He could have done a better deal.
Yeah, that is kind of fucked up. I mean, you do have to take into account the difference in time period. Maybe the currency was valued differently when that verse was written versus when Jesus was killed, because there is a few hundred years there.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Jesus was supposedly killed for less than the price of a rape. That is insane.
Specifically a virgin rape. Specifically, if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives, is the specific verse. It's Deuteronomy 22, 28 through 29.
That's
right. The problem is a lot of people are just cherry picking the Bible, and they don't really check all the verses. So, yeah, these are the verses I'm curious. When I try to read the whole thing many times and try to see a lot of different fucked up verses like that. I mean, you can't say, oh, it was about the time before. It's fucked up. How about if she's married? It's not even mentioning that she's married, all right, and she gets raped. How much?
Murder would be the answer to that. I mean, at least biblically speaking. But I get where you're coming from on that issue. There are a lot of Bible verses that I'm going to go with canon Bible. There are a lot of Bible verses that are epically fucked up. They condone epically fucked up stuff, and that's fine. If people,
I mean, you're right. The thing is, it's the Old Testament. The new version from King James is quite, I mean, cleaned up, I would say. But it's fine when a religion is evolving and changing, adapting to new a new culture, because it's moving forward. But you have some. I'm sorry. I bring the religion thing in it because a shekel has a lot of history related to religion as well.
Well, White, you want to weigh in? Because I don't want to monologue here.
Well, I was just going to say, with the whole thing with the Bible, you also have to separate New and Old Testament, because even if you go by the Christian standards and the Bible and everything, Jesus says that now I create a new covenant. And basically, the Old Testament is null and void. We go by the New Testament, is what Jesus is basically saying. So a lot of the fucked up stuff that you find in the Old Testament is, according to the New Testament, null and void, and you have to take a different perspective on it.
All right. AOU, do you mind if I, for lack of a better term, monologue for just a minute? Because I think I've got a valid point to make. If you have something more to interject, I'd rather you do it before I.
Go on.
What was that?
No, I said go on.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, what I read, the verse that I read there is from the King James, so which I would regard as probably the best version of the modern Bible, but I also
Debatably.
Huh?
Oh, I was just saying debatably.
Oh, for sure, that's debatable, but it's the best version I've found, I guess. But I think an important caveat or interjection needs to be pointed out, and that's that if you look at how Christianity was founded and how it evolved, there are a lot of books that are missing from the modern Bible. Some examples would be Enoch, Joshua, Jubilee,
Mary.
There's a lot of information that they dropped out during the Nicene Council because it didn't agree with their narrative, and specifically if you look at something like Genesis 6. Genesis 6, that talks about some majorly screwed up stuff, like angels breeding with humans, blah 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 blah, and that makes no fucking sense, none at all, unless you go and read Enoch and Joshua. It makes no sense. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that could be an entire cast in itself, the missing parts of the Bible, and like you were saying, the books of Enoch and all this, the Nephilim, how the angels interbred with the humans and everything like that. That could be an entire cast by itself.
It could, and many people have done similar things, but my point is not that there's missing things from the Bible. My point is that whenever you find something in the Bible where it says something epically fucked up, like, oh, if you rape a woman, you can just pay 50 pieces of silver and it's fine. Odds are there's a piece of information missing there. There's something in the extra biblical texts that that will clear that up and will make it seem a lot more reasonable. I guess is the point I was trying to make. I can't say specifically on that verse what it is because I'm just not that familiar with that part of the text. But it's been a few years since I read the thing cover to cover. But I would guess if I went and I looked through that and I read it and I read the context and I read the extra the things that got dropped, I would guess I would find reason, because anytime I've ever found something like that, it's made me question. It's made me go, well, what the fuck? And like there's no way my God can be that fucked up. And so I've gone and I've dug into it. And every time I've found that, there's usually, no, not usually, there's always been some kind of rational explanation.
And that's exactly that's right. That's exactly what I was talking about. Even in the New Testament, it says that the Old Testament is null and void, and a lot of the most fucked up stuff in the Bible does come from the Old Testament, which is, of course, a product of the Jews.
The Jews.
Yeah, of course. The Old Testament is something the Jews are still following through the Talmud and Torah.
I would like to interject. The Talmud is not part of the Bible. That is not canon.
No,
That
no,
is
I know.
something they came up with
I
on
would-
their own.
Yeah. I know. I was just mentioning.
No, I just don't want that associated with what I believe. You know what I mean? Like in the Talmud, it says it's fine to violate a girl of 3 years. Yeah, fuck that.
To suck the blood from the circumcised penis of a newborn baby. That is fucked up.
It is, but they're gonna tell you, no, it's not us. It's just the Orthodox. It's not us.
No, it's all of them.
They're
And then
fucking
they
dirty.
cry when they hit you.
Well, they can say whatever the fuck they want about me, and they will. But you know what? It's every goddamn one of them. I've met them. I've worked for them. I know how they are. I've worked for a Jewish community
Shit,
center.
the goyim knows.
Like I literally had as a client a Jewish community center for years, and I gave them a 45% discounted rate, and they still bitched about the bill every fucking time that it came. And you know what? The stuff that I saw them do in their daycare center, I'm not even going to talk about it here.
They're fucking evil. If there is an evil in the fucking universe, it is them.
I'm not even going to say it's all of
I
them.
would use that shekel and I will buy bacon with it.
Dude, a fucking $1,000 worth of fucking bacon paid for by their fucking shekel. Fuck. Ah!
Lifetime of bacon.
Dude, $1,000 of bacon is not a lifetime of bacon. That's like maybe 3 weeks.
Never trust anyone who won't eat bacon.
Like
I do, only in Ocho de Pole.
I could clear out $1,000 worth of bacon in like 3 weeks, no problem.
Dude, we're gonna have to do that sometime.
I have 2 words: bacon loaf.
What?
Bacon loaf.
All right. You've got me
sounds
interested.
tasty. Sounds really tasty. I gotta try that.
Here's what you do. You take bacon and you layer it into a meatloaf pan, and you layer some more bacon on it, and you put some more bacon on top of that, and you put some more bacon on top of that, and you bake it, and then you eat bacon loaf.
I would have to put some cheese right in the middle of it just to set it off.
Well, that's America for you.
America.
What kind of cheese?
Clearly cheddar.
Well, yeah, you have to have the cheddar. Honestly, though, I'm a Munster fan.
It could work. It could work in there. It would melt better.
Or you put some Parmesan.
Oh yeah, Parmesan on top, maybe a little mozzarella in the middle, and some Munster on it. Oh,
You got to throw some Swiss and some sharp cheddar in there somewhere.
Yeah, Swiss, definitely the salty one.
Swiss is so good.
I mean, we might as well throw Gouda in while we're at it.
Gouda is better.
Wow. Gouda is definitely but the dried old one.
So what we're talking about here is bacon loaf with 6 cheeses.
I think we've...
And some slices of tomato.
No, you've gone too far there.
All right, I'm going to call you Eric.
And a little pesto sauce.
You no tomato. You can't taint the bacon loaf with some non-animal product.
Where's Aragorn?
Ha!
This is bacon loaf. This is, the ultimate meat eater's dish. It's cheese, it's bacon, it's all animal products. We can't be throwing, like maybe you could throw on there like, no, I can't think of any way you could incorporate tomatoes into this. I can't think of a way it would be right.
Maybe if you
Just
rub
for
the
color.
bacon...
Just for the color.
Maybe ketchup.
Maybe rub the bacon with the tomato.
Like,
yeah.
Before you cook it, rub the bacon at each individual slice with tomato.
Ah.
If we're gonna go that route, why stop at tomato? Why not rub it with? Why not throw a little avocado in there? I mean, it helped with consistency.
Oh yeah. Guacamole.
I'm a big fan of avocado.
I mean, yeah, it's good for you.
Avocado is the natural butter.
It might make this whole thing not a heart attack in a pan.
It is a superfood.
Where is Aragorn?
I know, right? We need a veggie eater perspective.
He would definitely be here talking about how great avocados are. He would do that.
I think it's so funny. We went from 2,000-year-old shekel to bacon.
When is bacon bad?
How many pounds of bacon you can buy with that shekel?
Fuck, I don't even know, but I want to find out now.
Oh, I'm looking it up now.
$1,000 worth of bacon.
Not the cheap one, huh?
You know what my favorite bacon is? I don't know if you guys can get it where you're at, but like the bits and pieces. I don't know what it's called wherever you're at, but they
Bacon bits?
Bacon bits?
No, there's like I don't know what the brand is called, but there's a package. It's like, I don't know, like 5 pounds worth of bacon. It's just ends and pieces of bacon that didn't make it into whole strips. It's just like pieces and the fatty parts, and
Wow.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds delicious.
It's like
imagine
my favorite
all
bacon.
the fluff you can do with that.
It would be perfect. I'm gonna find it
With briskets and onions, garlic. Wow. You got me hungry now. I gotta do something.
I was just about to say that. Is it Oche de Pol yet?
No, it's the 19th. Okay, wait. Sliced bacon per pound. The average price of sliced bacon per pound is $5.81.9. That's for 2018. So, calculator.
I've got almost two pounds for like $5 here. But
So
that's the industrial one, for factories. It's just like an ingredient you put in something you're cooking. But if you want the real deal, it's like $7 for a pound.
Dude, that sucks. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So he could buy with his shekel 192.38168564 pounds of bacon.
Can you round it up?
192.381 pounds.
I could eat over my body weight in bacon for the price of this shekel.
Well, you can go fuck yourself with that.
You fatty.
Go fuck yourself. That's only 2 pounds over my body weight, and I'm not happy about that fact.
Do you even lift, brah?
No, I don't. Not anymore. I cut trees.
Hey, that's work right there.
Yeah, well, I've cut a lot of fucking trees in the last week.
How much land do you have with your new house?
It's less than a quarter acre. It's shit.
Oh, so you must live in the city then, huh?
Sadly, I said to the realtor when I was looking for the house, I said, I'd really prefer something more rural. And she said, well, in your price range, that's not going to happen.
Go fuck yourself.
I wanted to buy a house, and I didn't want to go into an insane amount of debt to do it. So you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's understandable, man. I mean, I get it. If that was the only option, fuck it, At least you're a homeowner.
Well, everybody told me, you can't buy a house in decent shape for 50 grand. And I fucking proved them wrong.
I will one day build a house, but until then I will rent.
Do it for 50 grand.
Oh, I will do it. I will do it because I will do it mostly myself, and it will be fucking amazing. Underground complex with genetically engineered monsters that I charge people to go hunt.
I'm telling you, I have seen masses of land in Texas for sale for stupid cheap. Stupid cheap.
Dude, I bought or I didn't buy it, but a family member bought 10 acres for like $5,000.
I was almost that guy. I was. Like, I looked at land in Texas, and I bought an RV, and I was going to move into the RV full time, blah 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 blah. And the original goal was to travel the country, but that didn't work out. So I was like, all right, well, I don't want to pay rent, so I'm gonna find something to buy, and I don't have a ton of capital to use, so where can I buy some cheap land? That's big enough I can grow my own food on. So Texas came up, and you can easily buy 10 acres of land for like 10 grand. Like, you can buy it for $1,000 an acre. It's out there, and that to me blows my mind.
Bro, if you ever come to Texas, I will build you a fucking house.
I've been to Texas. Where were you then?
I mean, if you ever buy some land in Texas and want to move down here, you buy yourself some land, get your fucking trailer, put it on the damn land, and hit me up. I will build you a fucking house.
Dude, you have no idea how tempting that is.
I swear, man, Texas is God's country.
I'm pretty sure you have far fewer. I'm going to go with undesirables than we have here in my home state.
Nah, we got them, but they stick to their own fucking side because they know what they know what's up. They don't come over here. I'll fucking.
Nah, you got far fewer than we do. I'm in the mitten state.
Okay, yeah, you got a lot more, but still, I'm just saying, they self-segregate down here, and they understand.
You know, my in-laws live down there. They lived in Texas in Fort Worth for a couple of years. We went down there. Like I said, I watched that idiot trying to drive in the snow. You know, we went down there a few times. I did it in my 1987 Lincoln Town Car, which for the record, I would like to state that there is not a more comfortable car that exists, and its maximum safe top speed was like 35.
The big cars are fucking comfortable, they're safe, and they're reliable.
It had smokers windows, dude. It had smokers windows. Like, it had, okay, so this car was like, it was, top of the line when it was purchased. So it had power windows. And it had, like, the front windows, it had two windows. It had a little triangle window that went down before the big window went down. And that little triangle window is what's known as a smoker's window. It was so in the winter, you could roll down that little window and smoke and ash out the window. I mean, come on. That's an awesome, like, why don't they, I mean, I know why they don't do it anymore, but that's fucking awesome.
I miss the old school cars. They were fucking well built, made of fucking actual metal, and just amazing.
Dude, if you got in an accident in that car, the steering column's going through your chest. That's what's happening. There's no give there. I mean, they don't make them like they did then. They really don't.
Oh, my dad had this old ass fucking truck. I don't even remember what the fuck it was, but it had an all metal dash and like no padding on it, no nothing, no airbags. Like you hit that shit, your fucking face is gone.
You are dead.
Oh, cars before seatbelts. There you go.
Funny story about that. So my grandfather left me, or well, was supposed to leave me. They ended up getting sold by his new wife, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. My grandfather was supposed to have left me a 1956 Cadillac, and this 1956 Cadillac had no seatbelts. Like they just weren't in the car. Like it did not have seatbelts at all. Like that to me, it is just weird.
That's just how they did things back then. It's amazing that like any of our grandparents and parents survived through that shit.
Well, let alone think about like babies and stuff. Like today you get in a car, you got to put babies in car seats. You got to do like they didn't do any of that. There were no car seats for babies. There were no like none of that. Yet they somehow survived.
It's because half the shit that they're peddling nowadays, you don't fucking need it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like when I get in the car with my kids today, I buckle them in. I double check the tension of the seat belts. I do all that. But I know that 50 years ago they didn't do any of that.
You got kids fucking jumping up and down in the back seat, like, whatever, we ain't even buckled in, fucking whatever.
I know you got a comment, AOU. Or not. Anyway. Go ahead.
I was just remembering, like, whenever I was a kid and driving around and my parents smoking in the car with us and shit, and nowadays it's, like, highly illegal.
Well, I mean, I don't smoke. I'm a smoker. I don't smoke in the car with my kids because I don't know. I guess I know what it could potentially do to them.
Yeah, like, and whenever I was a kid, I'd always tell my parents, like, I wish you'd quit smoking in the car, and they're like, shut up. When I was a kid, my parents wouldn't even roll the window down whenever they would smoke.
That's funny because I have literally the same memory.
It's just the time and place of where it was. It was acceptable, and nobody gave a fuck because cigarettes didn't give you cancer. There was no such thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Don't you think they knew on some level?
Well, they probably did. They knew it wasn't healthy, but, whatever.
I mean, if you see those ads from the 1950s with, you're smoking for two now, with like pregnant women smoking, like those ads happened. They were a thing. And they were like, oh, well, if you smoke, your baby will be smaller and it'll be an easier birth. And like, that was a thing that happened.
Well, yeah, like the Flintstones used to fucking sell cigarettes. Like, they used to have all these commercials and shit about it.
What?
You've never seen some of the old fucking cigarette ads when they were still on TV and shit? Like, they literally had the Flintstones had cigarette ads.
No, I completely missed that. The Flintstones?
Yeah, like straight up Fred and fucking Barney sitting there smoking, talking about how their fucking Lucky Strike cigarettes were so smooth.
No, I completely missed that. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'll find one of the ads and I'll post.
Yeah, yeah. I have no words. That's awesome. I mean, like the amount we just did not know, or maybe honestly, most likely they did know, but they just didn't give a shit. Endless pursuit of profit is a powerful motivator. Oh yeah, I went there. Well, anyway, what's up?
Oh, I just posted it in the chat. I'll post it to poll in just a second. I just wanted to show you that.
Yeah, I'm just back from the kitchen and I'm going back there.
We were just discussing 1950s cigarette ads.
Oh, you mean the Marlboro with the cowboy?
Well, no, like the "you're smoking for two" ads, where they were like saying, smoking reduces the birth weight of children, and how that's a good thing. Like that was legitimately an ad that happened in the in the 1950s. So
Yeah, I remember those ads where the doctor said, "Oh, these cigarettes are better than the other ones, the other brand."
I mean, the fact that they were like literally advocating, like, oh, hey, if you smoke, your baby will be, easier to birth. Like, that to me is crazy. Like, they didn't think that was, an indication of poor health.
The guys, they knew it.
I hate to admit it, but you're probably on point there.
It's the long con.
I mean, it's the long con for the last probably 100 years.
Since the last 2,000 years.
It's easy to find. You just Google image, just go in the image section and type vintage cigarettes, and you will see it.
Well, anyway, this was supposed to be a mini cast, which, well, it didn't really end up being a mini cast. But I think we're coming up on an hour, so I'd like it if we could all make our closing statements.
So my closing statement is I went to a beer store and I got a fucking 2,000-year-old shekel as a quarter. So what the fuck?
My closing statement is that is fucking awesome.
My closing statement is change it to US dollar and then you buy bacon. And then we have a party.
192 pounds of it. 192 pounds of bacon.
192 pounds of bacon.
It's what you should do. It's the right thing to do.
Going back to the kitchen now.
Anyway, I think we should call it, at least for the cast, I think we should call it a night.
All right. Talk to you later, guys.
More white?
Nigger.
This has been the Poalcast, the Poalminicast, episode 3, and we are signing off. It's been fun.